Tonight on a Meadowview man who recognizes the threat gangs and drugs pose to the young people there and what he's trying to do about it.
Different thing. I get chances to talk to them. In fact, they started calling me preacher, you know. Here come preachers, you know, and now if I come through, even if I'm driving through, they put their beepers up. If they're getting ready to get into some kind of fist fight, they kind of straighten up into our past, you know. So I guess I'm starting to get some respect.
It's nighttime in Meadowview, and Wayman Logan is out looking for trouble. Since he moved here about 2 years ago, he's been waging a personal battle against the drugs and gangs he says are claiming too many of the kids here. It all started when a couple of young gangsters threatened him in front of his own house.
He just came and grabbed a basketball from me and reached in his pants like he had a gun, and I seen him right there. I said, well, it's time to make or break, you know, this situation. I stood up, I told the kid, I said, hey, you know, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to war? Do you want to fight? What is it that you want to do? Because I'm not backing down. I'm here to live. I live in this neighborhood, and I'm not backing down for no reason, because I don't have to. I didn't back down. And from that point on, you know, it started changing.
Remarkably, the kids have responded to Wayman's concern for them in a big way. Instead of hanging out on the streets, they come to Wayman and his wife Tammy's house, where the welcome mat is always out.
I see more and more needs, you know, kids with no coats, with raggedy clothes, no clothes, you know, broken hearts. And then they would come to me and they'd say, hey, Mom, Dad is doing this. And they would instill trust, you know, they start trusting me with things that were going on with their life. And, you know, before you know it, you know, I found myself in this, having this outreach for the kids, and it start going from there.
Fridays are role model nights, and this time the kids are hearing how design engineers Daryl Pratt and Glenn Smith help build roads and bridges.
The actual engineering, the actual sizing of the roadway, the width, putting your drainage outlets at different locations, those things require some design.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, guys.
No problem. No problem.
Many of Wayman's kids have no fathers or come from foster homes. They crave the family atmosphere they get here with these surrogate parents.
The main object for this is what? For us to what? To grow up to be what? Strong men and women, right?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
So you can get what? Good jobs?
Yes.
That's right. So you can make good money, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I hope you all do better than I have. And I have done good. I mean it.
Wayman and Tammy provide necessary items such as shoes, clothing, and food for these kids, and they do it with money from their own pockets. Now, if you would like to donate to their youth outreach, here is the address: Dayspring Outreach, P.O. Box 163329, Sacramento, California, 95816. Now, don't worry if you missed this address. You can call us here at Channel 31. We'll be happy to give it to you. Tomorrow, we'll take another look at their work and hear from kids who say it has turned their lives around.
It's not very often you meet people like that.
He's
Nice
some
to hear.
guy. In part 4 of our week-long series, The Lost Children of Meadowview, we take another look at the privately operated Dayspring Youth Outreach. It's run by a young Meadowview couple who believes the community itself, not law enforcement, can best prevent gang and drug-related crime.
And what did I say I don't want to happen, Rashawn?
No. Okay, no cursing.
Yeah. No cursing.
No, what now?
No cursing.
What happens if you curse?
Push up.
That's Wayman Logan exercising his own unique combination of drill sergeant toughness and fatherly concern over this group of young people in Meadowview. He understands that many of them come from families where a father figure is absent, and how without that proper supervision, they can easily become prey for gangs and the drugs they thrive on.
But with no dad and, you know, welfare and whatever, the assistance programs and stuff, you know, it sort of traps them and put them in prison.
So Wayman spends up to 4 hours each day with this group, in addition to his regular job with Caltrans. He and wife Tammy often provide clothing, shoes, and food for the more needy among them. They spend up to $600 per month out of their own pockets on this outreach because they believe they can make a difference. They receive no government grants and only sporadic donations. The going is tough, but evidence that they are succeeding is all around them.
In the 9th grade, I was always in trouble. Everywhere I go, I was in trouble. And now this right here is shaping me up, like I'm a new person.
You don't matter what color you are, what race, where you come from, as long as you don't be on the streets hanging around with all kinds of people, getting in all kinds of drugs and all that kind of stuff, because that's not right.
We went to Los Angeles to talk with police officials about their ongoing battle with street gangs. In the past, their efforts to reclaim the streets have forced them to take some extraordinary measures. Crack houses there had become so difficult to penetrate, police once resorted to shock troop assaults with a tank-mounted battering ram. After years of studying the psychology behind gang activity, police in Los Angeles are convinced that intervention programs, such as the one Wayman Logan is operating, can be far more effective in saving a community from gang violence than anything police can do.
If you have that kind of a personality and that kind of ability as a drawing card who is using that to convince children, to teach children in his own way, never to become a part of the drug culture or the gang culture, we need more of it.
Last year, I took a break for about a month. And in that time, I had one kid, he went to join the Crips. Another kid, one we ended up in jail. And one of them in Missouri wrote us a letter, he's in jail. I mean, I looked, I said, it's like we can't stop.
Wayman Logan's Dayspring Outreach is a registered nonprofit organization, and it is now accepting donations to help finance its work. The address is Dayspring Outreach, P.O. Box 163329, Sacramento, California, 95816. And don't worry if you've missed this address, call us here at Channel 31. We'll be happy to give it to you. Tomorrow, in our final episode of this series, you'll see a somewhat trigger man in a drive-by shooting. He tells us what led him to do it and the advice he has for young gang members who may be following in his footsteps. We present our final installment tonight in our week-long series, The Lost Children of Meadowview. You're about to meet a young man who has a unique perspective on gangs and drugs. He became caught up in the Blood Street Gang when he was just 13 years old. He's seen several good friends gunned down on the streets for reasons that many of us find difficult to comprehend. In a remarkably open and honest interview, he gives us a rare inside glimpse into the flash fire kind of gang violence we read about in news reports all too often. Hayward Douglas says it's nice to be able to walk in a park these days without being armed. A few years ago, he was a prominent member of the Oak Park Blood street gang. Eventually, he was marked for death by a rival. Then one day, there was a showdown. He had the rival in the sight of his gun. In a split second, he had to make one of the toughest decisions of his 17-year-old life. When you had that guy in the sights of your gun, and you knew that you could pull that trigger and take his life, what was going through your mind?
Actually, it was kind of like blank. I mean, it was kind of like I was going to do it, but then there was a point that I didn't want to do it because he was so close in my range, you know, that I realized I could have killed him. But
did you miss him on purpose?
Somewhat. I missed him on purpose because I knew I could have killed him because I really didn't want to kill him.
I don't know if you ever read. Hayward did 2.5 years of a 7-year sentence for the shooting. Now at age 20, he's trying to put his life back together.
And I saw the funerals and I seen all of my friends and, you know, my friend that, you know, passed away, you know, I began to think, you know, that could have been me, you know. And so there, I don't want to throw away what I have, you know, because I'm so young, I want to live. That's when I really got to realizing that I wasn't ready to die. And I knew if I was to continue being involved in these activities, is that it only leads to death or prison.
Hayward Douglas says his gang days are now behind him, and he offers advice for those who would like to live that lifestyle.
Well, actually, the best thing that I could tell them is to slow down, take some time, and to think about what they're doing, because life is real precious, and you don't want to throw it away over a 99-cent rag over a color. It doesn't really mean anything.
Young men you don't want to meet in a dark alley. 300 of the state's toughest kids serve time here. But this is not prison, it's work camp. Offenders are committed as young as 11 and as old as 21. Those with more serious criminal records will stay until they're 25. Many of the programs at Preston are targeted at reforming gang members. Like Chris, he's doing 3 years for robbery in Los Angeles. Andrew held up a supermarket in Fresno. Rod wraps up a 3-year sentence for burglary this month.
Society may not like us, but they've learned that we're here. I mean, they're still trying to destroy us forever, but they're still used to our presence.
Altogether, the trio has spent 10 years at Preston. The state spends $30,000 a year to house, feed, educate, and counsel one inmate. Almost every gang member at Preston will undergo some type of drug and alcohol rehabilitation, even if they're not addicts. Psychologist Cynthia Aragon-Rich interviews hundreds of gang members as they head towards Preston.
98% of the kids that are in gangs are not from two-parent families and have had not much father involvement from an early age.
On the outside, police are trying to prevent youngsters from turning to gang activity. SPD has begun a gang counteroffensive. Chief Jack Kern says he has no choice. Gang dope deals, assaults, and thefts are way up.
Unless we can really make a solid effort, the police and the community working together, we're not going to be able to stop this threat.
The police department's solution, a tough love program, smiles for the ones they can reach, cuffs for the ones they can't. Police say it's important for communities to get involved, to work with young people, and steer them away from gang activity.
See, and the ref ain't looking out, pow, smack him upside the head.
Wayman Logan is doing just that. He's preaching compassion in Sacramento's Meadowview area during the summer of hate. Meadowview's a well-known hangout for gangs.
Hey, Francisco, you and Wes, get on over here like the rest of them. And you too, Antoine.
Logan spends every minute, just about every dime he has away from work, counseling, and feeding youngsters in his neighborhood. He tries to be a positive example for kids from 8 to 14. Many of them are on the edge.
We don't start giving our kids activities and start doing things with them, then we can forget it. And in 20 years from now, it'll be legal to shoot people on the freeway. It'll be all kind of... Hey, Vashawn, Jermaine, no, no, you know that ain't right. You better get them over and put them rocks back in that little yard. I know if I can mold these kids, and when I walk down the street, hey, I can see something going on different. Yeah. You know? And we all can see it. She's so precious, look at her.
Talk about giving of yourself. Wayman Logan does it every single day, giving to the kids.
And just one slip up in this life, just one slip. That's all it takes. Something to think about, huh?
He gives them his time, his friendship, even his money. Over the past couple of years, Logan figures he's shelled out more than $20,000. All of that money to help kids growing up in less than perfect neighborhoods, kids growing up in less than perfect families, families with drug abuse, single parents, and worse. Logan calls what he does Dayspring Outreach. It's all about reaching out to kids who really need him.
All right, that's enough in that car. All right, everybody else, all right.
We have to ride 2 cars with so many, okay?
Logan's partner, his wife, Tammy. Together, they're carting the kids to the neighborhood school for open gym night.
All right, ready? Well, we're going up to the school.
The plan is to teach the kids a couple of lessons before they get to play ball. But sometimes the kids stray out of line.
You're going to get you 15, you're going to get you 15. I think that line. 20, Musa. 30 for taking too long.
He's great. Oh, I don't have nothing else to do. It's like keeping me out of trouble and stuff like that. It's pretty fun what he's doing. I like the way he's helping us little kids around here.
You know, it eats me up when I see somebody that can have the potential of doing something positive in life, whether it's a doctor, a lawyer, reporter or whatever it may be, you know, and I see them just throw their life away. I mean, it's just hard for me to comprehend.
We're going to go over this. Some of you know the answers immediately, others may not.
So Logan brings in friends to serve as role models.
What does that equal?
Role models like
25?
Charles Williams, a computer sales rep.
Look at that real close now. Look at the word. $25 bills. What does that equal? So somebody would settle for what? $25 and be happy and be happy with that, right? But then others, if you look at the same situation and look at it real closely and see what we have here, what happened? It equals what? 100, right? Let me show you what this example is showing you. Whatever you look at in life, if you take time to just really look at it closely and really examine it, you know, you can always get a little more out of it.
Getting a little more out of it, the bottom line for Dayspring Outreach, the bottom line for Wayman Logan. Yes, the kids can play a little ball and have a little fun, but Logan is giving them all of his time and his money for them to learn.
Ray's like a dad to me, you know. Raymond, he watch out for me. He buy me things, you know. I don't think I'm there. You just gotta do what you're supposed to do. It feels real good, but then it's like temporary because, see, I'm looking at this kid, and we got like over 200 kids in our program, but how many kids in Sacramento? What if we had 10,000? We're still not scratching the surface. And this is just not the way the world was made to be.
In Sacramento, Maurice Dubois, Channel 3 reports.
Across town, some neighborhood kids show off their moves.
Get them, Jay. Get them.
The man calling the shots is Wayman Logan, a former football player who has made it his personal crusade to keep these kids off the streets and away from guns.
They want the truth, you know, and a lot of times on the street, to get the truth from the streets, it got a price on it. You know, maybe you have to gangbang, maybe you have to sell drugs, maybe you have to do whatever, I don't know. You just have to do something other than when you just lay it out on the line, and there's no price tag to it, because anybody here can get up and leave and go whenever they get ready.
Wayman Logan knows he's fighting a tough battle.
I bow your head.
In this neighborhood, carrying a gun is a status symbol, even for young children.
Whenever you old enough or big enough to hold a gun up in your hand, that's the age. If you 5 years old and can hold a gun in your hand, you'll have a gun.
We spend an evening talking with the kids about what it's like to grow up in the line of fire. They talk of guns casually and with some expertise.
It's not hard. 9 millimeters, 22, especially 22s. The smaller the gun is.
38s.
38s?
38 is the most common handgun now. Everybody got a 38.
Everybody and their mom.
These are kids who are trying to stay clean and out of trouble. They want to stay out of the gangs and away from the guns. And here at Dayspring Outreach, they can come to a place where they feel safe.
Never go to bed without hearing a gunshot. That's just like the little nightcap call, you know. When you hear that gunshot, you know it's time for bed.
Yeah, there's a lot of good points about Meadowview.
Jermaine grew up in this neighborhood. He plans to go to college, get a business degree, and come back someday to work with kids, just like Wayman Logan. But he has to make it through high school first.
Was it last week, 2 weeks ago, one of my friends got shot in the back at my school for some fools that didn't have school on the day we had school, came up there after school and shot him in the back. Most of the teachers, since we've had so much violence in the school, they're afraid to teach.
Guns have even made their presence known at Jermaine's elementary school. The warning here rings hollow.
Just a sign, because there's nobody's patrolling this area to stop anybody from bringing any guns and drugs up here. So it's just a sign.
Tomorrow night here, I'll take you to a Sacramento area.
Slide on over. And then you got him one-on-one.
It may not be apparent, but these kids are learning as much about life as they are about basketball.
Jacoby, you talk to Brian and help him.
For several years, Wayman Logan and his wife have run Dayspring Outreach, a program in the Meadowview community of South Sacramento dedicated to helping kids become successful instead of a statistic.
We try to teach them to think, to be productive, to be a solid man and woman, grow up to be a solid man and woman. And a lot of them are tough because they've been in the street life, but you know, there's another side of life too.
There are exercises, video games, puzzles, and free lunch for the 500 or so youngsters who come here throughout the week. an oasis in a neighborhood known more for its violence than its vitality. And just last night alone, Sacramento police tell News 10 there were seven drive-by shootings, wounding at least 5 people, one of them right here in this South Sacramento parking lot.
Won't you leave the girls alone?
Glenda Richardson has been helping out with the program for over a year, since her 18-year-old son was shot to death while trying to break up a fight.
It makes me happy to know that I'm around to give my love to others that needs love.
I think it's great that people can be so kind and open up the school for us and stuff. Pretty nice here.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it.
Although the Logans get some corporate donations, much of the money for this program comes out of their pockets.
We try to give something to the community so they can bring something back when they get older.
Get over and help them. And while they know it's not a cure for all that ails their community,
5, let's go.
They are convinced what they are doing here will help these kids score in life. In Sacramento, Tony McEwing, News 10.
Sacramento Raider Youth Organization, and we put together a football team. And I'm just wondering, we are a nonprofit organization. How did you go about getting a lot of your funding?
Yeah, out of my pocket, well, we started out, me and my wife, we always believe in giving a certain amount of our income away, and then we also had groups like Active 2030 Club, Bel Air Markets, Target Foundation, and one of our board members, and one guy especially made a super sacrifice, Mike Buckner, a developer, and then it just kept going on. A few people, they say, well, I'll come up and sponsor a project or different things, but it never was based on funding or anything, just based on what me and my wife, our personal commitment. But now we have over 500 kids, and we need some funding. We need people to get in there and start backing us.
Sheriff Craig, we have a question for you.
Hi. I'd like to know if the drug abatement money goes through your office.
People shouldn't be out there trying to kill each other over a color. When your friends get killed, it's a trip.
The hotline can really help us out by just asking people to stay out of games.
It's your choice. I feel good about myself because I know I'm helping somebody.
If someone called, I gave them help. They called back and stuff, and they said thanks.
But sometimes you need to make the right choice.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Call the Get the Word hotline, 395-WORD.
People shouldn't be out there trying to kill each other over a color. When your friends get killed, it's a trip.
The hotline can really help us out by just asking people to stay out of games.
It's your choice. I feel good about myself because I know I'm helping somebody.
If someone called, I gave them help. They called back and stuff, and they said thanks.
But sometimes you need to make the right choice.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Call the Get the Word hotline, 395-WORD.
Make money for kids or help us get more jobs.
Hope is what the president gave him.
Go back to my neighborhood and tell everybody, tell all my friends that need a job that the president probably will help us out in our area to get more jobs.
Specifics is what Kathy Nelson Turner wanted. On health care, she wanted more. She wanted more.
I see problems whenever government intervenes. I think bureaucracy is a problem.
And shaking his hand and talking to him, you see a warm person.
This was the president's second town hall since he announced his health care.
Once-in-a-lifetime shot.
I'm 13 and I'm talking to the president.
This is us to Marcellus Wright, a young man with big dreams.
Yeah, Mr. President.
It was nerve-wracking, a once-in-a-lifetime shot.
I'm 13 and I'm talking to the president face to face. Some of my friends in the neighborhood don't have jobs, and I couldn't even get my words straight out, and they sell drugs, therefore they get their money. And I had to know all the stuff I was gonna ask them. This all came at once, so I don't really know what to say.
if you can, how you can help us make money for kids or help us get more jobs.
Let's give him a hand. That took a lot of guts.
Marcellus said his question to the president came from the heart. After all, he grew up in a neighborhood where simply surviving makes you a success.
Sacramento's Meadowview.
Like, we have open house up here when I used to go here. Game members used to come through with guns and stuff, and the principal stuff, we try to chase them out. It's just hard for letting the kids see this kind of stuff going on in the schools.
The president told Marcellus he'd like to help by providing young people with part-time jobs. The young man is
Now, who is not on the team? Listen up. Listen up.
Kids from Meadowview do listen to Wayman Logan.
Don't let them discourage you because he blocked their shot now.
This is the Dayspring Outreach Center at John Sloat Elementary in Sacramento, where there's no doubt who's in charge.
I got this. If you don't like the way I do it, get your own program.
But there's a sensitive side beneath Logan's tough exterior. He designed this activities and tutoring program for kids. Many of them are foster children or from single-parent homes, kids who need guidance.
That's me yesterday, looking at those kids. I make sure that I give these kids the best quality, the best love, the best discipline, the best that I can give them at all times.
Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 2:30, Meadowview area kids play basketball. Or some friendly competitive kickball.
Hey, that ain't no save. That's still no, it's not safe.
And they get positive reinforcement from Wayman Logan, who tells these kids they can be somebody.
They start to feel that the strength in the conversation from us, and then it gives them a vision. Well, Wayman said, I'm going to be a lawyer, and I think I can do it. Wayman said, I'm going to be an accountant. I think versus there's nobody telling them anything.
But it's not always fun at Dayspring Outreach.
Okay. Go in and sit down. Go in there.
Sometimes Wayman steps in to teach kids to get along.
He shouldn't even say nothing to me. Well, just go on over and play. People going to talk to you all they want. You can't make nobody shut up, okay? And go on and just calm yourself down. Calm down.
Logan does a lot to help calm down Sacramento's youth.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? You know, the Get the Word hotline is youth helping youth with their problems. So check yourself, direct yourself. To receive this free brochure, call 395-WORD. That's 395-WORD.
395-WORD.
That's 395-WORD.
395-WORD. Get the word.
My mother's dead. I don't know where my dad is.
I was a gang member for Oak Park Blood. Like, we steal cars, you know, smoke weed, sell dope, and, you know.
You seen friends get hurt?
Yeah.
Killed?
Yeah.
What's that like?
It hurt.
I've been in prison for 5 years of my life, you know, for a murder. You know what I'm saying? Happened to beat it.
I've been through it all, and I've been shot, I've been stabbed, I've been beat up, I've been all these other stages, and it's kind of hard.
Where I grew up, everybody, you know, a lot of people getting killed, a lot of people stealing, a lot of people going to penitentiary. They ain't even know that called for it, you know?
And we talk about life, your life's getting cut short, getting completely cut off. That's a disaster. That's a tragedy.